All right, guys, if you've been under a rock somewhere and haven't seen or heard of Tiger King, you need to watch it. One of the breakout stars, John Finlay. So good to talk to you, John. Thank you for taking a few minutes today.
Thanks for having me on.
Let me just tell you something. My wife and I watched this together. We loved it. My wife is your biggest fan. And I'm just keeping her out of the room here, especially you got the new teeth, my friend. Looking good. Tell me about that. I know that's been something you've talked about, that you got some work done there.
Yeah, June of last year is when I got them fixed, and it was because we started wedding plans, and I was real kind of self-conscious about my teeth then, and I'm like, let's do it. Let's get them fixed.
Okay, and so you did it, and now, yeah, you mentioned that you're making the wedding plans, you're engaged. What's the update for people who haven't followed along? How long have you been engaged?
We've been engaged since October of last year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what's your fiance make of all this? I'm sure at some point you probably had a moment where you sat down and said, all right, here it comes, and let's watch this docu-series. What was that like?
Actually, she knew everything before we even met each other.
Okay, so she was aware coming into it. And then what did you and her make of the series and the way you were depicted there?
I drove lions, tigers, bears, ligers, all kinds of different animals. I can't really tell you all the places I've been. Let's just say that I've been to 38 different states.
I mean, we weren't really aware of what was going to be shown on it. So everything that was shown was kind of surprised. And I mean, they made me look like a methed out hillbilly. And they knew that my teeth were fixed. The tattoo was finished before they even aired it, like 6 months before they even aired it. And they didn't even go into follow-up stories of like me or Saf.
Yeah. What is something, maybe is there some part of your story that you really wish would have been told?
How life is going now is what should have been another focus of how after they finished the series up.
How would you describe your life now if you had to sum it up for us?
You know, I live a lot more positive life. I don't regret my past, but it does kind of make me the man I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And I just pretty much go with the flow now.
If you look back on it and your experience with Joe Exotic, what is maybe the most important thing you learned from him in that phase of your life?
That's a hard question to answer. Probably the animals is
kind of the animals and like your love for the animals.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was working there, everything was basically animals. There was no governor race. There was no presidential race. Back when I first started, it was animals. And then we started trying to film a reality series that for the network we had at this park, and that's when everything just started kind of going downhill. And
yeah, things really kind of took different turns, I'm sure, than what even you would have expected as things played on. And hearing you say that, it does seem like, having watched the series, that the animals were the initial sort of hook and the love that connected almost everyone to Joe, at least initially. But when you look back now, the animals were one thing. Were you ever really in love with Joe Exotic?
He showed me love, and I learned how big my heart was and how much to care.
Let's just say at one point I was.
What was it about him that connected you in that way?
The same thing that brought all of us there. It was the animals.
And then when was the tipping point that changed that for you?
That one's a loaded question.
Yeah? In what way? What do you mean? There's just a lot about it?
Yeah. I mean, what everybody saw in the documentary, that was actually him. There was no editing of him or anything. He was the way he was, and he didn't care who he hurt.
Do you still feel and hold the feelings of being hurt by Joe?
No. I got rid of those a long time ago.
How were you able to move beyond that?
Well, having a fantastic fiance that my agent calls a legend, she helps out a lot.
The legend. All right. The fiance, the legend. Yeah. That's really great.
Having everything that I have around me now has actually helped out a lot more than I thought it would. It's just having a more positive outlook on life has actually helped out a lot more.
Who is Joe Exotic?
Nobody now.
No way. It will be after we're done with this tattoo, huh?
Yeah.
It's just a memory.
You mentioned that tattoo. We saw that as part of the series that ended up getting covered up. We did see the new one. What do you want to tell us about that experience and why that was so meaningful to you?
I mean, it's been a burden on me for a long time, and it's now just not even really a memory. I mean, it's gone. There's nothing showing of it. And the other ones I have will be soon covered up too.
The one thing that I thought was interesting, as my wife and I watched the series, it was interesting how, near the end anyway, there were questions raised about your relationships with men and women.
He left me for a girl. And the hardest part I had dealing with that was I can't compete with that, you know? Leave me for a man and we're game on, okay? But leave me for a woman, I can't compete with that.
Have you ever publicly defined your sexual orientation? Is that something that's ever been talked about publicly for you?
I've actually talked about it quite a bit, but I'm straight.
And so when you think back about that phase with Joe Exotic, how do you, I guess, in terms of when you, inside yourself, how do you think about that and consider that relationship?
I mean, in the beginning, I probably was actually gay, but towards the end, it just wasn't right for me.
Yeah. So it's something you kind of lived through and then have moved on to different pastures, I guess.
More fluid pastures, I guess.
Okay. Looking over to the fiance. That's my favorite. We need to get her in here. It's really what needs to happen. Get her side of things.
She won't do it.
She won't do it? She won't just come in and say hello real quick?
I'll say hi.
Can we see you?
No.
Fiance, what's your favorite thing about this man, about John?
Everything.
Everything? You like the goatee?
She's the one that trims it all up for me and everything.
Oh, does she? Okay.
Yeah.
As you look to the future, what are your plans for the future at this point?
Me and my agent are talking about them, and in the near future, hopefully, wedding bells.
Yeah, what is the forecast for that? Are we looking like a year away? Are we looking? I know she's right there, so you better get this right.
You know, we're still in the process of talking about it. I mean, we have pretty much everything planned out, but it's just depending on the coronavirus of when we're going to have it.
Yeah. Are you going to do a bachelor party? Is that the plan?
Probably not.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe partied enough. Let's just let that be.
Yeah, we'll probably do one big party afterwards.
It's really fun. What has changed the most about your life since Tiger King hit Netflix?
I used to be just a normal, ordinary working American, and now I'm known worldwide.
Pretty wild. Are you getting fan mail or anything like that?
My fan page is just blown up beyond, it's every day there's 40 to 60 messages and then thousands of comments.
Here's the only other burning question. We asked Jeff Lowe about this as well. We're talking about how great Joe Exotic's voice sounds on those music videos.
You were my first love, the one that's gonna last.
Jeff said that's not really Joe singing. True or false?
I know from experience that is not him singing.
But I'm sure you've heard Joe sing as well. What's his singing voice compared?
Oh, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear him sing at all.
Okay. Well, we cleared up the burning questions that we had. All right, final one. If this is made into a movie, who's playing you?
Top pick is Channing Tatum. Second pick is Shia LaBeouf. Third pick is Tom Hardy and Charlie Hunnam.
Wow. I mean, did your fiance come up with this list?
No.
She's like, here's who I
did.
want. So good. John, I really appreciate you taking some time for us, and honestly wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And bye-bye to your fiance as well.
Bye.